The return. I awoke today in the middle of a dream. A forest of towering spruce screened me from the shoulder where we pulled off the road and parked a month ago outside the gate to Herring Point. I'd walked into the dark woods so that no one could see or hear me pissing. Yet the grasses shivering on all sides of me took shape as an Iroquois hunter running unseen through the centuries. Within earshot, I was at the mercy of a master of surprise and speed and invisible survival in this place where I was ill-equipped to live, a child again, trembling as he encircled me to protect his land from my casual desecration of it. By the time I zipped up my fly and rushed back to the road, I had no memory of my encounter with him. But early this morning, he came back to me in a dream as the spirit of the place, who opened me to the wonder and terror of Herring Point. And I lived through my night there again from the beginning. Details that were blurred when we moved through them came into focus. Black letters there to arrest us leapt from the yellow sign. No trespassing, no one without a fishing license may enter here. Without a word, we unlatched the gate and set out, making our way through a maze of dunes toward the ocean. The undertone that rattled each of us separately stopped. In its abrupt cessation, we could sense what we had come through. The dread of openness we live with was gone. There was only this tide, this night, this bright moon, these sandpipers writing nervous, indecipherable runes along this shore where we stood, side by side, listening. On this narrow strand, set apart as a sanctuary for wildlife between Delaware Bay and the gray Atlantic, we heard water dispersed in clouds by last week's heat waves and restored to the sea in yesterday's downpour, heaving and soughing as it returned to land. Nothing obstructed the horizon over which no face hovered. Yet we lacked nothing. Cool air from limitless expanses brushed our cheeks and went through us, releasing fear that we carried in the stone jar of the lungs, in the knot of the stomach. We ceased holding on to the hunger that eats our capacity for being alive to the world. We stood on the hair's breadth between the sea inside us and the one without, and there was neither the one nor the two of us. And now I wonder, dear friend, what of all this can I retain? Am I falling into my usual error, clinging to the good experience? Is the urge to be exalted the birthright of the soul, or a source of confusion, or something of both? Questions that lead away from the living moment. I stood at a place emptied of hindrances to being at peace, listening to the waves, incessant variations of whooshing and withdrawing under the night sky. Isn't it time I took up residence on the site of loss, in the house of my wavering, my impurity and impermanence? How far I am from that in my own home, trying to shut out small disturbances, my attention broken by Jehovah's Witnesses ringing my bell, cold calls from stockbrokers, the old woman with dyed orange blonde hair, my neighbor starving for a friendly word from passers-by, sits for hours on a beach chair with her little yapping lapdog under my window. How can I remain calm in the midst of such noise? It's a dream to think I can remain anywhere at all. Isn't it time that I gave up striving to keep out the dark I always return to? Time that I took up trespassing into the world I encountered at Herring Point.